shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs live. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash making a portrait. Gun kick back, now grannies from porches. David on the sea, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot, I said that you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Said what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Oh, snap. It's Monday fun day. Now, normally, you know what I say. When it's good news, it drops on a Monday. Oh, this is Bloody Monday. I don't know if this is to be taken as good news because we do know there's a long week. Shout out to the Knicks. You know what they did? Parade is on Thursday. But I want to give a shout out to McFig. I want to give a shout out to Clown Tears, Lieutenant Hawk. Yeah, you know, New York is in the building. You know what we do. Well, I said, Reclaiming Rob, what's going on? Lamont Davis. We are about to get busy. Now, I expect the usual suspects. I'm not going to lie, man. Listen. They supposed to come out here to get their content on. Let's not hate, let's appreciate, right? Magnum Force, what's good, baby? If it was me, you know what I do. I put in that work to make that body hurt. You heard me? So listen, I'm not hating on anybody making the videos that they're supposed to make. Why not? This is the time you eat. You got journalists out here spinning the block, making it hot. There's no party like an Xbox party because an Xbox party don't stop. They make it worse every day. But we're going to get through this. Now, we're going to go bit by bit, little by little, through every topic. When I tell you, and you'll probably say, King, you're capping. I heard about this 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning. See, I'm up. I'm working. So 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a message. And I'm like, okay, what's this? Ain't nobody, I don't know. You got to say, Requenio hits me up 3 o'clock in the morning because he knows I'm up. And other people that know I'm up hit me up around that time. So I'm looking and it's like, yo, this one said Craig. Yeah, Craig. Craig is out. I'm like, what? So immediately I thought about Craig Face, right? I mean, come on, y'all. I was like, oh, snap. Halo got Craig Face again? Oh, don't tell me Halo got Craig Face. No way. All right, so Jeffrey, and what is it, Granda? Hold the line is not hold the line for anything other than the ABK deal. It wasn't for anybody here. It wasn't for anything but content creators. It was a certain content creator that was out there that was spreading so much misinformation. And that's what made me frustrated. And that's what made me say hold the line. So when you say hold the line, nobody's holding the line for Microsoft or Xbox. Nobody gives a damn about that. I was telling them that there's a 10% chance that the deal, oh, let's go. Let's go.
At George Purcell 5,331 donated £1.99 through Super Chat. What is Asha doing? I'm so lost.
I'm going to tell you what she's doing in a second. And that whole thing was telling those content creators that have a fan base, Stop doing what you're doing because you're just doing shit wrong. And they were just talking out of their neck, and it was just irritating the hell out of me. So that's why that happened. Other than that, nobody holds the line for no $4 trillion company. Shut up. But just admitted King, Xbox failed and Game Pass is ruined. Admit what? Xbox has failed what? My Xbox turns on right now, bro. Game Pass is fine. Like, bro. Like, if you don't think this, today is a day that I'm going to hurt a lot of feelings. Oh, let's get it. Let's go.
At Minimum FRC donated $2 through Super Chat. They circling the news like carrion.
Yeah, listen. That's what they're supposed to do. Let's not act like anytime there's bad PlayStation news, I don't ring them through the ringer. And I especially ring them through the ringer when they be talking about PlayStation 6. Because there isn't a PlayStation 6 and they ain't talking about it. But I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. And what I won't do today is I won't deflect. I won't say, but what about PlayStation though? No, today is all Xbox news. It's a Monday for all Xbox news. It's a day in which we're going to get a chance to see, hear, and understand what's going on. So now, let me set the stage for you so you can understand, because a lot of you guys are coming inside the door. Share it out. Let everybody see this, because this is going to be an education in corporate life. Now, a reason why I have always been an independent contractor, besides the fact that I like to do things my own way, I like to build my lane. You understand? Is because in a corporate structure, there's rules, things are set in a manner where you got to adhere to it in their manner, and operating outside of the box is frowned upon. And then the bigger thing, you have to have that level of corporate kiss ass that I just don't have. I'm just not that type of individual. So again, if I'm going to call a foul on something, I'm going to call a foul on it, and I'm just going to continue that way. And it's not going to work well for me. But in a corporate structure, how things is broken down. Now, if you have tenure, you're in a company in which that you've built your legacy there. You've been there for such a long time. They have buyout packages. And in these packages, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it.
At Hollywood Rules 2673 donated $2 through Super Chat. Crazy day, bro, never a dull moment in our hobby.
Facts. But you know what's crazy, Hollywood? There's a lot of fake concern when it comes to Xbox individuals outside of the Xbox ecosystem. And it's disingenuous at best, right? We all know they have zero concern for Xbox. They don't play over here. They don't care about this ecosystem. It is not something that is even on their radar. But what it does do is drive monetization for YouTube channels and for them to stay in their job and their corporate structure at their news outlet. So understand, that's the reason why this conversation is happening outside of video games. And the fact that Xbox had a damn great show, individuals are kind of upset because they have done some form of exclusives and they're upset that they can't get a chance to play E-Day. You know, it happens. You don't get exactly what you want. If you want to play it, go buy an Xbox. But you do got a high-powered PC, I would suggest you get that done before October 6th to make that happen. And if you don't like it, well, then you can just sit there and cry and continue to make all the petitions that you want to make. But getting back to the corporate structure. So a lot of times when you have tenure in these places, there are packages that are handed out. And in these packages, those are packages for you to take. Now, they offer them for a little bit of time. Whereas you have medical, you have your dental, and it's for a couple of months. Sometimes, in Bungie's case, they offered employees. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. Always gives me a chance to sip my coconut water.
At Paul Piverell 4,832 donated $5 through Super Chat. Xbox, good news follow immediately with bad news. It's sad, I get you can't have unlimited funding to their studios, but I'm ready to just move to PC.
Well, I will never tell you not to have a PC. Honestly, there's advantages to having a PC. There's disadvantages to having a PC. I would never tell you not to buy anything that you've earned in this life. Go do what you're going to do. But yeah, they don't have an unlimited funding. And for a second, that's how they was operating. They was operating with Daddy's Bank, and it got kind of crazy. And we're not going to act like some of the stuff and some of the studios that we heard about, we didn't speculate on already. Like immediately in your head, when you heard studio closures, layoffs, you immediately said to yourself, oh, Double Fine should be in trouble. Ninja Theory could be in trouble. Compulsion, right? Immediately. You said that, right? You said, I didn't see Blade. Oh, man. That's a possibility, right? Those are stuff that you said. So this is not something that is far-fetched. This is not something that is taking you by surprise. But today is the day that we're going to delve deep inside all of this conversation. Because at the end of the day, as a consumer, and if you're looking at it through a consumer lens, none of this affects you. But if you're a journalist and if you need to pay the bills, well, this is great. This is food. This is fantastic. If you're a YouTube content creator and you are in video games, this is absolutely delicious. This is lunch. This is what you asked for. You asked for something to have conversation about that can get your page started, your content going. I see a lot of dudes on YouTube, and I notice because what I do is when they talk about me, I just click on them, and if they have a YouTube page, I look and I see their YouTube page, and if their YouTube page don't have any numbers, I'm not saying I got a bunch of numbers because I really don't, but I'm looking at their numbers. I'm like, oh, I can see you just want to get a jump start. And I get it. That's why I leave them on red. And I don't say anything. Because I just let they channel die. But you get severance packages. And in these severance packages that you get at these large corporations, there are different things that are afforded to you. Now, what they do, they send one email out, right? Those that are interested in taking a severance package, this is what this is that is about. That's for lower rung employees, right? Now you have the opportunity to take that package because what they want is to dangle the carrot. And those, if they can get mad people to sign up for the voluntary expulsion, a voluntary retirement, because you're not going to retire, you're going to go find another job. Right. So if you can voluntarily quit and you get a severance package, whatever, instead of being all right. So this is the bad news. Let's say you say, nah, I'm going to roll the dice. All those people that got their package, they left, they got their package, they got their bread. Let's say you get canned. You get canned. You don't get no package. You just ass out. Oh, shout out to Sith Lord, member for 29 months, Soldier S ranks. I salute you, Soldier. Asha Sharma, execute Order 66. Nah, it's not execute Order 66. And listen, when you're the boss, shit rolls downhill, right? For lack of a better term. The buck stops with her. So I'm not going to attribute good stuff with her and don't attribute bad stuff with her. This is hers. This is her watch. This is hers. She's dealing with her first purge. This is hers. Nobody. Shout out to Stevie Ray in the chat. Yo, Stevie Ray, I would like you to change your name to Stevie Ray so I don't call you what your name is showing on the screen. So please do me a favor, Stevie Ray, and fix it, okay? Fix it, Stevie Ray. I appreciate you, Stevie Ray. Well, then you need to shut down that name and start up a Stevie Ray name. That's what you need to do. He said, who did that for you? Now, severance packages, they have a second wave, right? Now, this is the do or die wave, because if you don't get on the second wave, it's over. And then when they're gonna have the round of layoffs. It's like, what's that game? What was not Hunger Games? What was that stupid show? It was on Netflix. What's something games? Squid Games. It's like corporate Squid Games. You hear me? And you could take your money and walk through the door and get up out of there, or you could roll a dice. Some people, some studios are afforded that luxury to move on to the next round. Some aren't. We can't act like these dudes was profitable like that. Right? It's always an issue when they bring a person in that is set to clean up. What does clean up mean? Clean up means a lot of stuff that was tolerated before won't be tolerated now. See, a lot of times in corporate structure, you get comfortable. I'll never forget going to compulsion games, and I want y'all to know that South of Midnight is probably one of my best games of all time. It's between them and The Last of Us 2. And I don't care. Y'all can like other games. That's your business. I'm not saying I don't like other games, but it's out of those two that I really, really, really like and love and resonate with. But when we went to Compulsion, we talked to the CEO. We were one of the only people, and that's Iron Lords, the interview's up. Should go really check it out, especially now. Where, he told us his journey and what happened with the studio. But he also said one key thing, that they were moving like check to check, like moving with a deadline always on their shoulder. And when the bag came in from Microsoft, it was such a blessing. Now, it could be a blessing and a curse, because they did a lot of good stuff. We Happy Few. I think did they do Neighbors? I don't know if they did Neighbors. I know they did Contrast, because I like Contrast, play Contrast, and South of Midnight. Let me know if they did Neighbors. I don't know if they did Neighbors. But understanding, sometimes you can get lackadaisical and you can take your foot off the throttle. Right? Because you're supposed to immediately, after South of the Midnight hit, have one in the chamber to keep it moving. And that's sometimes in these big corporate structures, when you have people that are in position of power. I'm not saying that this is the case here. What I'm saying is you lean on your homies. Your homies come through. You good. Yo, y'all good. Y'all good. Yeah, get that done. And that takes away a little bit of hunger. When you know that you're going to be fed the next day, that takes away the hunger. It was a story that I heard, right? It was about a wolf and a dog. And the dog sees the wolf, and the wolf ribs is touching, and the wolf is through the woods, but the dog is healthy. And the wolf and the dog is walking, and the wolf is like, yo, man, you look like you living good. And the dog say, yeah, man, you should come back with me. You come with me, You get fed every day, warm house. You don't have to go hunting for your food. None of that. Everything is good. It's a wonderful thing. So the wolf is like, word, tell me more. And he walking. But the wolf looks over and he sees like this, like something like a wound on the neck of the dog. And he goes, yo, what's that? And the dog goes, oh, that's just where my collar goes. During the day, well, during the night, my master locks me up. And I can't do anything. But in the daytime, he lets me out for a couple of hours. And the wolf just says, I'm good on that, and starts to walk off. And the dog is like, why? What happened? Don't you want to go have a nice stress-free life? And the wolf valued his independence, valued the ability to be independent than to be a slave. He may have been hungry, but he earned his kills and he strived harder to make it better every day. I don't know if competitive edge is gone. I don't know if it's the environment in which we are in right now as companies. Because if you check out the channel, this is a tale of two games, right? Now, it's on my preview series of the content that I did get a chance to play and see in California Summer Games Fest. And I started off with Crazy Taxi, but that's something totally different. But what I'm talking about is the next two games for you members, for y'all to see. One is Phantom Blade Zero, and the next one is Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis. And Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis, it's a reimagining of the first game under Amazon Games. Now, you know, Amazon has the money, and you got Crystal D and Flying Wild Hog Games making that title. And you could tell they have a nice leisurely time doing it. But S Games is making Phantom Blade Zero. And you want to talk about someone fighting for their life, fighting for their food, looking at what and this is two separate games. One is a brand new IP. Another is a reimagining of an IP. One feels safe, cozy, warm, gonna get that bread. This one feels like it's fighting for your attention. It's fighting for your dollars. And one, I can't wait to play. But the other one, I'm putting it in, damn, this could be Game of the Year type of category. And I feel that the structure that in which Xbox is in cultivated stability sense and made too much comfort. Because there's titles like, what is it? Kiln. Those passion type titles from Double Fine, Keeper, those titles could not exist if you're fighting for your life. Psychonauts 3 would be fighting for your life. The best and brightest will be fighting for your life. So when Asha says something like she's going to focus on these transmedia type titles, that sounded like Jim. You don't know when Jim said they're going to focus on big budget IPs? Because he saw the margins. The margins started to creep down to abysmal land. And if you're not making return off your investments, well, then there's a ticking clock above your head. You got grace for such a period of time. And we're not going to act like a lot of these titles didn't underperform. Let's take Hellblade. right? The original Hellblade, in my opinion, was not as good as Heavenly Sword. But at that time, it was an independent title that stood out based upon the fact that graphically it was stunning. It told something from a different perspective. And the second one expounded on the graphics, the storytelling, but not the gameplay. And the gameplay is where it fell short completely. It kind of fell flat for a lot of people that was playing the game. A lot of people called it a walking simulator. A lot of people just called it a quick time event with legs. And coming from the pedigree of Heavenly Sword, you kind of wanted more to the title. What you're not understanding is you're only as good as your last hit. Let's go. Oh, snap. Yo, Jay, come in the chat. Come in the chat. Come in the Discord.
At
Pause.
JW4, you donated $4.99 through Super Chat. You'll keep your heads up. Hopefully Xbox can survive this.
Yo,
Jason
you know,
Schreier says this is just the beginning. Crying face emoji.
the best part about you is you always show up when there's Xbox bad news. I never see you in PlayStation bad news. But I love the fact that you're here. Now, I do want you to jump over to King's Frontline for Gamers. And we can definitely have a conversation because I definitely would like that, to happen. All right. Let me see if I can reach out to you, Stevie Ray. Let me see more. Bow. J Dub. What's your joint on J Dub? Let me see. Is he in there? What's your Discord? Well, I thought we was friends on Discord. You know my friend on Discord, J Dub? Because I could quickly turn the tables on you. I'll sit there and I'll wait for you. Hit Attic up. Because I could definitely turn the tables on you. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to pin that right there so I can see it just in case. Just in case you want to jump in there. It'll be a good thing. We can make history today, me and you. You like it. I'll make it great for you. But comfortability and complacency can destroy margins. Now, we're going to get into these studios, but we're going to get into the key members that are stepping down first, right? And listen, I definitely would love for him not to duck the fate. I would love for J-Dub to step up to the plate because he's my homie. He knows that I won't embarrass him too bad, right? He knows that. He knows that I keep it love. I keep it great. Pause. Lou Bagger with the $2 super chat. So honestly, how much does Game Pass fuel complacency? I don't think Game Pass is the issue. To be real with you, I think Game Pass actually itself was making a lot of stuff more sustainable. And I know you're going to say Satya didn't say that. He was talking about the studios themselves. But we're in a different era. If you make all those games that came out in the 360 era for the PlayStation as well, and I don't want to talk about the PlayStation today. I don't want to talk about them today. I want to keep the focus on Xbox. If you were to put those games on the 360 era, those games would sell like hotcakes. But you didn't have other things breathing down its back, right? The margins weren't the same. The conditions aren't the same. This is a perfect storm. And if you're looking at the top three, because there's only three, if you're looking at Steam, I can say this. The Steam machine wanted to be out in March and April. The conditions said no. understand what everyone is under. But if you don't think the person sent to clean stuff up ain't there to clean it up, well, you're sadly mistaken. This is going to get cleaned up. Now, last week, I got a chance to see Craig Duncan. I didn't stop and talk with him. It's two individuals that I didn't talk to. And for some reason, this will always play in my mind because I saw Craig Duncan there. The last time I spoke to him was with the Sea of Thieves rollout and all this other stuff. And they had pirates all over the place. And he was having such a good time. We had such a good time. Spoke to him and he was riding on a high. And then the next time he got this big promotion later on. And you feel great for the guy. You said, man, this guy did it the right way. This guy deserves all the accolades that he's getting. He hung tough with what he had, and he's actually in a position of making things happen. And this is brought to you by Pure Xbox and my guy, Frazier Gilbert. Two key members of the Xbox Game Studios are stepping down. I'm proud to say we delivered many flawless launches. I don't know. Your Kraken didn't have a body. I don't know. All right, you can't go a day without some kind of big story in the world with Xbox right now. And it seems to be they're a magnet for positive and negative, right? You're going to get this, then you're going to get that. And this is the first time under Asha Sharman, the Empress, that she's stepped on such a huge rake. Now, this is an unforced error. But at the end of the day, if you the boss, this falls under you. And I got people inside that building. Conversations are being had. And I want them to know that any conversations that I have with them won't be talked about here. I'm just going to go about the content that I have here based upon the articles that are in the street. Anything else, that's us. And I don't care to be a leaker. The latest one that concerns leadership at Xbox Studios as a boss is Craig Duncan. He has announced that he's stepping down from his role, and Chief of Staff Louise O'Connor is doing the same thing. Now, I know you're going to say, who's Louise O'Connor? She was the one, if y'all remember, that was the executive producer over at Everwild, right? The game that got canceled. I want y'all to remember that. That game got canceled September in 2025, right? That happened after that last fiscal period in June. Happened in between there. And she just got hired for a major role, right? Okay. I'm just wanting y'all to see the timeline and how things go. When I stepped into the role leading XGS 20 months ago, my purpose was to serve our studios, our teams, and our people in making our games. Together, we set out to deliver high-quality games, strengthen the cultural fabric across our studios, and help shape the future of the business. I'm proud to say we delivered many flawless launches that drove business success for the company. I beg to differ. I'm seeing this as an exodus of executives that were in line with Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name. You're looking at the old regime being purged from Xbox. You get a package, and hopefully some of the people that were in your staff can stick around. I believe that in that corporate stuff, you align yourself with people when your allegiance is tied to an individual that is no longer there. I think the ire starts to you, because at the end of the day, the boss wants people that they trust in charge of things they need to win with. I don't believe Asha's playing around. I believe everything that you see here is calculated. I believe everything that you see here has something to do with she needs people in positions to bring up that bottom line. And again, if your allegiance is on one side or was on one side, or you was appointed by the previous administration in the whole hierarchy when it comes to management, then I think you're the first to go. I think when the conversation boils down to it, they're going to be looking at you. And that's pretty much how it goes. All right, so both Duncan and Luis O'Connor are veterans at Rear. Duncan switching from Sea of Thieves team over to the Xbox Studios in late 2024, and O'Connor joining as chief of staff after the cancellation of Everwild in 2025. Duncan also shared a message with his team about O'Connor today, stating that she's been a thoughtful, creative, and trusted partner who consistently championed the craft and supported our studios with clarity and care. No reason has been provided for their departures as of yet, but we'll update those as posts as it goes on. Now, understand this. Later on, Jason Schreier will come out with some expose exposing the reasons why those individuals are no longer there. J-Dub, you disappointed me, bro. I really thought that you was going to nut up and not shut up. I really did. Let me get out of this Discord. Man, you see me? Anytime anybody asks me to jump on anything or pause, get on that show, whatever it is, I'm there. I'm just there. I'm there when we winning and when we losing. I'm there to answer, talk about, and decipher what's going on, no matter what. I explain to you. Real is always going to be real. And y'all saw this in real time. This is the best thing. I told you today is the gift that keeps on giving. This is the day. Now, studios at risk. The studios at risk that we're thinking about is this. Now, this is where it affects us as gamers, right? Because Craig Duncan and Luis O'Connor as gamers don't affect you. But as gamers, this stuff is where the rubber meets the road. If you are a fan of a certain IP, if you are a fan of a certain studio, hearing that they're on the chopping block for your favorite company, well, will put butterflies in your stomach. This is brought to you from Pure Xbox and my man Frazier Gilbert. Rumor, journalists suggest that 2 Xbox studios are at risk of being closed in 2026. Update names of them as Compulsion and Arcane. Now, the scariest part about Compulsion is this. They have an IP that I feel, if given the chance, can turn into something different. I come from generations of consoles and games that had the ability to put out a part 2, that had the ability to show what they was worth. And a lot of times, the first game is just a company getting their feet wet, right? But they truly learn how to swim with their second title. Now, some games have the sophomore jinx, and it doesn't go well. But some games truly shine after getting a part 2. Not every game out the gate is going to be a 10 out of 10, is going to sell 20, 30 million copies, especially in this day and age, which is getting increasingly harder for games to reach those mythical legends that we grew up with. Seeing a game hit 20, 25 million in a week was damn near commonplace in the 360 and PlayStation 3 era, especially for the Wii, when the Wii came out. But we're looking at a time where games are being celebrated by just hitting 1.5 million in a day. James Bond did that but it went on to sell a crap ton of more games. A level of independence, a level of fright, I think needs to be introduced. Now, dudes, we were talking on Iron Lords yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to see the show, but we're talking about Xbox being spun off. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more because I do have an industry veteran that gives his 2 cents on that thing possibly happening or what he perceives to happen next. Now, Bloomberg is reporting that the likes of Double Fine and Ninja Theory are in talks to avoid closures as well. Now, me personally, Arcane, that's where Blade is at. That's a terrifying proposition because I want to see what Blade looks like. At least. It was kind of concerning when we got the showcase and we didn't see Blade. But then we saw Senua. So to have Ninja Theory looking to purchase independence, much like Toys for Bob. You see, I think Compulsion and Arcane falls in the position of Tango Games. Not having enough money to buy their way out of the corporate structure. But I think Ninja Theory and Double Fine does have enough money to purchase independence and then come back in some form or fashion with IPs and getting titles done through some form of deals, much like Toys for Bob. Now, looking for companies to purchase Compulsion or Arcane, that could probably possibly be on the table. But as of this moment, we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 studios being closed. Now, we got past that Craig Duncan stuff. Now, there's an industry veteran that had a particular unique take on what he thinks Xbox is going to do. And I tend to listen to him. And the reason why I tend to listen to this industry veteran is because he was at death's door with a company that he was with a console that was overpriced and it just wasn't hitting in the manner that the company needed it to hit. And they got bailed out. And he understands how easily that company could have just went away. I'm talking about Shohei Yoshida, and I'm talking about the PlayStation 3. Now, this is brought to you by Games Radar Plus. Xbox will dissolve into Windows, ex-PlayStation boss says, which is Microsoft's strength. His comments come across amidst a restructuring under Xbox's new CEO, Asha Sharma. All is not well at Xbox, and this is brought to you, who's getting credit for this? Anthony McGuinn. All is not well at Xbox as reports circulate of the company widespread layoffs happening towards the end of the month, June 2026. A former higher-up at Sony Interactive Entertainment, Shohei Yoshida-san, appears to have commented on this on his social media with a prediction for what's going to happen structurally. On Twitter, Yoshida said, who was president of SIE Worldwide Studios for over a decade, posted a slightly cryptic message about the future of the green-tinted brand. Xbox will dissolve into Windows and it's Microsoft's strength, he says, with a cute little thought bubble. And that's this right here. This is what he's talking about. When somebody is part of the industry in that manner for a long period of time, their unique insight, because what we have is speculation. Anytime I talk to a lot of these higher ups, they say, you pretty much got the picture on what you're talking about, but you're missing key steps and you're off by this much. That's why I came up with that 98% stuff. And you're off by this much. But you got pretty far in your assessment, but you're missing key information that can make it 100% accurate. And what we do as content creators that aren't sitting down like certain journalists, investigative journalists. There's a couple of kind of journalists, but investigative journalists that are meant to get to the source of the story and have sources that are leaking information and they make a living off of that stuff. Those individuals are the ones that go find out information, dig, and make sure that they bring it back to the populace. The other content creators, the other journalists, the other individuals that are just talking games, we assume that we know exactly what's going on. We can assume what happened with Craig Duncan. We can assume what happened with Louise O'Connor. We can assume that they took the package, the severance package, and probably save a lot of staff in doing that because their cost to the budget is a lot higher than a couple of staff members. You understand? They're getting paid the big bucks because they're in the big chair. That could have been a cost-saving measure to save probably 20, 30 jobs, right? You never know. But our assumption and our mind, and I told you the other day, your mind always goes to the worst. Now, Craig Duncan leaving, Louise O'Connor leaving, I don't know structurally exactly what that absolutely means. My thing is really everything to do with studios, because the studios in charge of the IPs that I actually like to play and love, those are the studios that I'm concerned with. What is the health of those studios? What are the deliverables? Did Microsoft and Xbox turn to this 12-month strategy of showing you games at showcases that are only coming out 12 months because they don't want to commit to any other studio for the long term? Is that the strategy? Are any of the companies that we didn't see at this showcase in absolute danger? Are any of the games that we heard about that are in the pipeline in absolute danger? These are questions. I told you today I will not bring up or whataboutisms when it comes to PlayStation. Today is going to be a PlayStation free day. This is just going to be about Xbox because I'm going to show you how I'm able to deliver content outside of leaning on PlayStation, outside of deflecting and taking full accountability of what's going on over at Xbox and asking the hard questions, needing the real answers. What are the true answers? Not the speculative stuff, not the stuff that we're assuming, not the stuff that we heard by somebody that's not verifiable. No, what is the true stuff? Because in the beginning, questions were, is Asha brought here to sunset Xbox? Well, a lot of conversations being had right now. Shit. 6 months ago, well, not 6, 4 or 5 months ago, that conversation will be real. Now, if you erase everything in the middle and fast forward that, you like, yo, she's the demon, right? So you have to ask yourself this question. What does the brand look like next year, this time? Now, I can tell you this. Next year, this time, they won't be spun off by Xbox or by Microsoft. That takes time, right? The reason why they gave her 4 years, or the reason why she put up 4 years by 2030, you got to look in how people talk. As a supervisor, as a boss, as an owner, you tend to cut through people's BS to hear the truth. I've been particularly good at that in this life. I should have been a detective. I really should have. But in dissecting the language, she said 4 years in order to become the number one. So that means she told somebody else 4 years. Because if you repeat it in public, you repeated it in private, right? That's true. Anything that you hear in public is something that they said in private. Understand that to be true. So, knowing that her idea is 4 years for them to turn this around, She went and got one of the leading guys in the business with Matthew Ball, a strategist that is going to give her a game plan in order to get Xbox lean enough in order to make money. With her saying conversations like she's going to focus on the larger IPs, I looked at those IPs that she mentioned. All of those IPs have transmedia type of properties in order to bring extra revenue outside of gaming, because gaming as a whole right now is in a sick phase. Is in a phase that if you don't have the leading free-to-play model games, live service games, well, then you're up against it. Removing Call of Duty out of Game Pass, making it stand on its own, was one of the first moves at making it profitable. Extracting cash from individuals that automatically was going to buy it anyway was the idea that made sense when it comes from a strategic standpoint. Now, I know you're going to say, as a consumer, King, I don't give a damn about their bottom line. I'm with you. I understand exactly what you're talking about. I want all of that stuff in Game Pass. I don't give a damn. If they lose money, they win money. I've told you this before. It's the gift that makes me happy, right? But I also don't run Xbox and don't care about that bottom line part. But there are people that do. There are people that are. And in saying that, I've told y'all a lot of times that I believed 100% that they was going to go into OEM with the next Xbox Project Helix. As ambitious as it sounds, it made sense. When I looked over and I saw the Xbox ROG Ally X, I realized that they had the capabilities to make that a true reality by pairing up with a company and manufacturing, distributing, and using their pipeline to make sure that everything comes through. See, listen, chipsets are paid for, right? These things that they did with AMD structurally is already in place. But how long does it take and what does it look like? These are the questions that we have, and we're talking about Yahoo Finance right here. And this is brought to you by Tony Aswasu. I hope I did not butcher your name. Probably did. Xbox fans waiting on Project Helix get an unexpected news from Webbush. Pause. The explosion into AI spending has a rippling effect throughout the tech industry, and now gamers are going to pay the price. Remember, somebody told me that Microsoft was backing away. Oh, let's go. Good. Give me a chance to take a sip. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
At Checkleys_Ty donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Blade should have never been given to Arcane. That weird cartoon art style just wouldn't work.
I just wanted to see what it looked like, bro. I don't know what happens. I know that they do have the license and they do have the IP, and I don't know what the contracts look like. Are they mandated to put out a game, or there's penalties and stuff like that involved with it? So we're going to figure that stuff out, right? We don't know. And again, remember, speculation, our mind takes us to the darkest side of the web. Always will. You will always assume the worst, and then it probably don't even be that, right? What we got today is Craig Duncan and Luis O'Connor, and then we got news of studios that are in jeopardy. We didn't get news of studios that are closed. We just got news about two individuals. And I just want y'all to keep that in perspective at the moment, because the moment, you just got to maintain your calm, especially if you're a consumer. This is brought to you by Lou Bagger with the $2 super chat. So zero blame on Greenberg and Matt Booty. Who said that? Like, okay, so I don't know how Greenberg gets any blame if he's not getting the budget to market, right? Word on the street is he doesn't get the budget that is necessary for him to market the Xbox in a manner that's necessary, right? So exclude Greeny. Let's look over to Matt Booty. Matt Booty is the deliverables. Those are the games that you're getting. And if Matt Booty is walking over to studios and saying this ain't it and this ain't happening and this is that, well, a lot of those closures is based upon Matt Booty's assessment of the stuff that's going on. But I told you the buck stops with the boss. The same way I gave Phil all the props when stuff went right, he got all the blame when stuff goes wrong. If you're a quarterback of a football team, no matter what, it's your fault. Tom Brady wins, it's Tom Brady. And it could have been a defense the whole game. Tom Brady loses, it's Tom Brady. And it could have been a defense the whole game. Understand, I'm not spreading the blame anywhere. The blame lies solely with Asha. She's the boss of all of them. All right? So when you're the head of household, anything that falls under your household, you. Nobody else. Now, somebody in the chat had told me that Microsoft was walking away from AI investments, and I told them they're absolutely wrong. I told them that they're going to invest 60% more because that's what the prediction portfolio looks like on the stocks. And I told you, following the finance, following the money tells you everything, what's going to happen. A lot of times, none of this stuff comes as a surprise to me because you can see what the bottom line looks like. There's a reason why all of a sudden people started talking about financials and caring about financials, and they don't got two nickels to rub together and they eating ramen noodles. But they could tell you exactly the pain points when it comes to Microsoft and how beneficial Nintendo is to the Nintendo brand and how much money they're making overseas. Can't string together two nickels. But to find out just how much weight AI holds in the U.S. economy, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis looked at how much money is being spent on software, research and development, and information processing equipment, along with the data center construction and data. In the first quarter of last year, information processing equipment, which includes microchips like those made by NVIDIA and AMD, contributed to 90 basis points to real GDP growth, more than 2 standard deviations above its long-run average. The real GDP growth overall fell to 0.6% during that period, suggesting that when the economy was doing the worst, tech companies spent more to build out their AI infrastructure. You understand? We're down, they're spending more to build out the AI. As the economy improved in the later half of the year, contribution from the process equipment fell sharply, only to be offset by the increase in AI software spending. Microsoft has been one of the biggest contributors to this AI spending. Remember when I told you I can love Xbox but can't stand Microsoft? Because fundamentally, what Microsoft is doing is directly harming Xbox by being one of the biggest contributors to AI, making sure that AI is a priority. Don't get it fooled. When they tell you, oh, that AI stuff, trust. Satya's face scrunches up when you say micro slop and AI slop. Why? Because he's betting everything on AI. Everything. Even Xbox. Let's go. Let's get it. Thank you for allowing me to take a drink break.
At Scott Woodford 76 donated $4.99 through Super Chat. My opinion is gaming is dead, but the iMicrosoft is THR problem. THR blame is on the head of Microsoft in my opinion.
Yeah, yo, listen, I'm not lying to you. That's the absolute facts. Gaming is not dead. I walked away from one of the greatest gaming weeks that I've ever seen up close in my life. Normally, you have one company that actually isn't really all that good. They just have a crappy show. Then you have the next one's kind of low and a lot of shovelware stuff. Not shovelware, but a lot of mid-tier gaming. And then, probably one studio stands out. But no. This year, all four primary suspects delivered. So I'm not going to tell you that gaming is dead, because that's not the truth. What's happening is the economy is being folded in by outside entities, and one of those outside entities are in direct control over the brand that we care about, and that's Xbox, right? Microsoft directly holds the fate of Xbox, but to win, Satya will gladly sacrifice Xbox in order to win the AI war. And I know it sucks, but separation from the entity probably might be the best thing that Xbox ever could do. All right, so Microsoft has been one of the biggest contributors to AI spend, with the projected 190 billion in the CAPEX for 2026 to expand its AI infrastructure. While Microsoft is more than happy to spend money to build an AI moat that few companies will be able to compete with, the AI-fueled spending is causing big problems in the video game division. Analysts for Wedbush have bad news for gamers looking forward to Project Helix. This week, the internal memo from Asha Sharma revealed that the company is facing hardware component crisis that could cause console shortages as far out to 2027 holiday season. Now, we know next year, holiday season is the next console. When everyone was telling me, and I was going against them, saying that they're going to use OEM, and everybody said, nah, they're going to make in-house. I want an in-house console. I didn't see it, because I don't see Microsoft funding that. I don't see Microsoft saying, yeah, that's what we want to do. No, we can get the chipsets, we can own this, that, and the third, and we can have somebody else build it out, and we can just sell them the chipsets in order to get a return off investment. And that way we can put our name on it, and we can walk hand in hand in the street. I honestly see it that way. I don't see it any other way, right? So when everybody keeps telling me, or when everybody wants to reprimand me and say, I believe that it's going to be an in-house first party, they're going to language it in a way that it's going to be first party, right? But I don't see it. I see where they're spending money. They're spending money without batting an eye, but complaining that a division that they got that could make money had you invest all that money there, right? And I'm going to say they already invested 100 billion. That's 100 billion long term. Especially when you separate Xbox, you separate ZeniMax, and you separate ABK, and you isolate Xbox to what they're making, but you're not including ABK, and you're not including ZeniMax. You're just including what Xbox makes. I think that's a recipe for disaster. That level of conversation, and I'm sorry to go on a whole deep dive on the finances, where a lot of dudes can't do it. A lot of dudes won't be able to do it, and I can go deeper into the conversations exactly what it is. Just go over to Yahoo Finances. Y'all can get the rest of that conversation if you want to know anything about the finances. Me personally, I think a lot of you guys come here for the content aspect of it, right? For the video game aspect of it. I don't think any of you really give a damn about finances in that sense. Y'all just want to know if the studios that you're looking after, that the studios that you love are going to be there tomorrow. As of today, no, there's no issue. As of today, an hour from now could be absolutely horrible. We have Craig Duncan and Luis O'Connor. As of today, we have conversation about studios looking for independence, looking to keep themselves safe. And AI, lies supremacy, AI definitely sometimes be absolutely wrong. But those are all right, so the language models that you're getting is not the language models that these guys are working with. I tried to explain that on numerous occasions, but then I get met with laughter where, you're making it seem like they're the Terminator. I'm not making it seem like they're the Terminator. They're terminating jobs. If you can get something that can work 24 hours a day, nonstop, what are you going to do? And you're paying them, you're purchasing it, and it's costing you a fraction of the percent of the money. Ask yourself this question. Why in God's name does Microsoft need to invest 190 billion just this year? That's the conversation that you have to understand. Last year was 160 billion. The year before that it was 140 billion. It's 190 billion just this year. So when you look at what pittance they gave over the Xbox, in order to get studios and told them to go turn a profit, they're investing that and then some in AI and not seeing a return on investment yet because it hasn't produced. But what it did do so far, in my estimation, has eliminated jobs, has taken the mundane task and made it simplified in order for them to continue to galvanize the AI infrastructure that they have while building out tech centers to take more jobs, to remove the human element. Anytime they got to tell you this is not going to remove the human element, it's absolutely going to remove the human element. Oh, this is not going to hurt a bit. Remember when a doctor tells you that right before they give you a needle? They're fucking lying. Right? They're lying to you. So you don't act like lies aren't being told. Let's go. Ha! Oh God, I'm glad you said that.
At Afropovic donated £5 through Super Chat. Don't worry, US Gov will say model is too dangerous and ban it. Mythos, smiley face emoji.
And you know why? Okay, so you know why he said that is because of this. Anthropic is going to go public any day now. If you got any money, if you got a nickel, dime, penny, how much money you got, the moment that stock hits the market, go for it. Make it happen. They told you that Mythos was the most dangerous AI in the world, and they banned it but released it. You understand? They're drumming up hype for something that's supposed to be the harbinger of doom. I'm explaining something to you in the whole aspect of this, and I don't want you to. This should not be understated. Look at the money always, right? Look at the money. You said Microsoft needs to kill free Game Pass. What Game Pass is free? Shut up. You have to look at the money and understand. And I don't think you understand where the true problem is. I would indulge y'all in a conversation, but I won't indulge y'all in that conversation. The problem is all the spending is going in the AI area, and it's not bringing the return on investment. So they're looking at other areas of the company that has pain points, and they're requiring those other areas to pay up. This is where we are. The financials is going to come out on June 30th. I expect stuff to happen around that time. I really don't expect too much movement before then. Because it's a zero. It's not going to make any sense, right? Because whatever, those financials are already set in stone now. So moving now won't do anything but lower shares. I guess if they're trying to maintain shareholder confidence, they can make some moves now ahead of the bad news to show that they're proactive in doing so. That's the only thing that I can see here. Because if you're going to show that you're proactive in fixing the issues and show the pain points in which they were directly involved in, then and showing how you're trying to fix Xbox, then it makes sense. Restructuring of Game Pass is definitely going to be there. Shuffling of studios. You may see studios fall into each other in order to make better support studios to get games out faster in a timely fashion. Games can't take 3 to 5 years any longer. Those budgets are not going to be funded. But today is a day, and I want y'all to know, good news usually drops on a Monday. I want y'all to be particularly fearful for Thursday, Friday. Friday being a holiday, and I think the market is closed on Friday. So the news cycle would be particularly ripe for catastrophic news. If this is the setup for the week, catastrophic news will launch on a Friday, Thursday, Friday, into a weekend, which will be a long weekend. So the market will be stabilized by Monday. But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy the King, and today we did that. We did that without talking about the blue team. We did that without deflecting. We did that without saying what about isms. We did that today. We had the conversation about what's going on at Xbox, but what we really found out was Craig Duncan is gone and Luis O'Connor is gone as well. Two people that were over at Rare that made their way over to different aspects of the company. They're no longer there. Was there a sacrifice to keep their studio intact? One of those days, we will get that expose by Jason Schreier or one of those investigative journalists that are out there. But today, we have been put on notice with companies like Double Fine and Ninja Theory looking for their independence like Toys for Bob. But then we're looking at Compulsion. They could be the next Tango Gameworks. But I want you to do what you should be doing. I want you to go where game is game and win is win. And I want you to try to play the Game Pass. But Bella loves that part. She shows up immediately because she knows daddy's finished. But I told you, I'm the unmitigated best at this. And if you think there's anyone better than me, then put them up.
What's a man or a king? Relentless to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talking, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash make it a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the sea, you know that it's scorching. What's a man or a king? Relentless to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted, this what you wanted, huh?